Hello, friends, and welcome to the All the Spoilers podcast. I'm Ed,
And I'm Israel.
and today we're going to be talking about the 1995 film Tank Girl, directed by Rachel Talalay, starring Lori Petty, Malcolm McDowell, and sort of starring Ice-T. To be honest, I don't know why. I don't know why he's like actually in the main credits, except that he is Ice-T. And I forget Tank or Jet Girl's name. I suppose Jet Girl
Oh,
should get a
Naomi Watts.
dude. I didn't even know that was Naomi Watts. Actually, I thought Naomi Watts was black. And
Oh,
then as
that's
I was
funny.
watching the movie, I was like, "Where's Naomi Watts?" I think I was thinking Naomi Campbell actually.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then by the end of the movie, I forgot that Naomi Watts was even in the movie. But the whole movie is really very like MTV. Like it looks very like early
That
90s
time period.
MTV,
Yeah.
very Pauly Shore even. Like if you just look at any set, any MTV set with like MTV VJs and like Pauly Shore with his long hair, like hanging out at fucking MTV Spring Break or something, like that's what the like party house at the beginning looks like, is like a fucking MTV set.
I always kind of thought it more of like a punk rock type, like
Yeah,
vibe more so
but
than, but yeah, like,
it's like an MTV punk rock vibe.
yeah,
Although I don't think MTV fully went hard on that aesthetic, but it was like a little subgenre of what MTV was doing at the time.
yeah.
And you
Oh,
see
yeah.
that with just the music in the movie, which is one of the first things that we'll really start with, because the intro scene is kind of these punk rock tracks, these like MTV era punk rock tracks with the comic book stuff going, and all the music is curated by Courtney Love, and some of the music is actually her, but like curated, of course, means that she was the one who picked all these songs for the soundtrack. I don't know if she specifically was like, let's put this song here, or like what kind of creative input she had in that respect, but perfect person to get to do the Tank Girl, music
Oh, absolutely.
curation is Courtney Love. Even though I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
really
Especially at that
like her,
time.
but
Like,
yeah, at that time, like she was like the main bitch when it came to like the 90s sort of punk grunge like chicks. Like Courtney
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Love inserted herself as like the main chick. I don't think she was the best like musician or singer. I don't think she was even very popular as a musician or singer, but like she was the face of that, partially
Yeah.
because she was dating the main dude of that whole era and that kind of music scene.
I mean, she was always around. Like, yeah, I think it was great. I really loved the music in this thing. Obviously, it was like a time machine. Like obviously listening to all that, but like, there's definitely some bangers in there. Like, I loved when. Well, anyways, we'll get to those scenes where I like called out specific songs because like it's funny. I'm actually in the middle of. I've been listening to this like No Thanks like 70s punk like mix that my dad he like got me this like 4 disc CD set like a long time ago, and it's called No Thanks, like the 70s punk rebellion or whatever, and it's like all of these like bands, like from the 70s, like that are just like almost like pre-punk rock or whatever, and it was just like and like a bunch of the songs were in this, or like at least one or two, and I was just like, man, like it was just so cool that I was listening to that and then also watching this movie. And then I'm like, oh, that's such a cool little coincidence.
Yeah. So the start of the movie, we're getting, like I said, this music video almost with cut-ins from the comics. I did check out the comics. The comics are pretty cool. I pretty much recognized like all of the images that they use from the comics. I don't think that they dug that deep, because I didn't. I checked out like the first 10 issues or something like that, and there's like, I want to say there's like 30, maybe 40 issues that came out before the movie came out. So they had much more material to work with. But I don't
Right,
think they
right.
dug really deep, but that's fine.
Well, and I think they took a lot of liberties because I don't think there was water and power in the comics at all.
I never found water and
Like
power.
they
I
added
was
that to the movie.
wondering if
Yeah.
it was something they added later.
Yeah, they did. Cause I was listening to like, cause I had the Blu-ray, and so I was watching the commentary, or not the commentary, but I was watching like an interview with the director, and she was talking about how like, or no, it was, I think it was the art designer or whatever, or costume designer, whoever it was, but they were talking about how like, oh, we have all this stuff from the thing, but like we had to create all of the water and power stuff and all this stuff because it wasn't in the comics. And so, but I kind of like, I mean, I'll start out like I love this movie a lot, but I kind of wish like, and I mean, it's like for what it is, it's so like it's just such a '90s fun like movie. But I kind
Yeah,
of like,
it's just like fun. Like no matter
yeah,
what, at a
it's like,
certain point, like you might stop taking it seriously or whatever, but you're still having fun.
yeah, I kind of wish it was rated R though.
I wish they had pushed certain things further. Like they kind of just hint at things. They also kind of seems like they don't want to sexualize the character too much, even though that's part of the character. But I think they were
Yeah,
kind of like, let's,
yeah, yeah. Well, it was funny because Lori Petty, I listened to an interview for her too, and she said she also wishes it was rated R because she would have just been naked the whole movie, is what she would have. Because like that's like what her she's like that's I would have just loved to just be like make a movie like that and just like she's like because like looking back at like what you can get away with a rated R movie now, like a modern rated R movie, or even a modern PG-13 compared to like a PG-13 movie back then, like it's just changed. I mean, maybe the ratings haven't changed, but like it has changed. Like it's clearly changed what you can get away with
yeah,
in
and
like
what's sort
modern
of
movies.
appropriate to, or not really what's appropriate for younger audiences, but what parents allow younger audiences to watch anyways.
Yeah, right.
But before we go, too far into all that stuff, let's let's get through the opening music scene with the cartoon images. I would actually prefer a lot of the cartoon images to stay still a little bit so I could see them. Like I didn't like all the rapid fire stuff too much, but it's fine. It all
Kind of
works
adds to
with the aesthetic of
the
the
chaotic
almost like a
energy of the movie.
chaotic scrapbook kind of aesthetic with the little music video they're doing. And then we're introduced to Lori Petty, Tank Girl, riding her, I think it's a yak. I think
Yeah, I
that's what
think
the
so.
animal is. And she's sort of just talking about the situation, the governments are fucked, everything's gone. It's like this
Comet.
apocalypse.
There was a comet that crashed that just that 11 years prior, and that there hasn't been rain since then, and so that's
Yeah, and there's
like
a huge drought. We're in Australia in like the sand dunes, although it was filmed in New Mexico and Tucson,
Tucson.
Arizona, but
Yeah.
we're supposed to be in Australia. And the moment that Lori Petty starts talking, the moment Tank Girl starts talking, I was like, this is Ashley Birch's favorite movie. Like, this is her shit right here. Like, the
Right?
fucking baby talk, hood rat personality. Like, that's what Ashley Birch has been doing since the Hey Ash, What You Playin' shit. Obviously,
Yeah.
into Tiny Tina, which was like a takeoff of Tank Girl a little bit, much more like sort of angry and boisterous or whatever, but still I feel like a takeoff of that. But just the little like bratty hood rat personality is like one of the main things that Ashley Birch has been doing from the beginning of her career. So I thought that was pretty cool to immediately. I've never seen this movie until I watched it recently. So to immediately be hit by that because I'm a fan of Ashley Birch was
Yeah.
really cool because I was like, this like has to be her shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, clearly an influence for sure.
And of course, the Tiny Tina stuff with the Borderlands, also just the Borderlands. Like when I'm looking at her character immediately in this like wasteland environment with her goggles, and she's got goggles for her yak and her fucked up haircut. Like it just looks like Borderlands as well. Like
Yeah.
the game as well as Ashley Birch's take on her character seem to be quite influenced actually by the
Oh
look and
yeah.
aesthetic of this movie.
When I thought a lot of parallels to Tank Girl too is like Harley Quinn as a character. Like
Mhm.
they're very like annoying, like like sort of like like very, but like also like funny and like there's like a sexiness to her and like with the blonde and all, and, like just like that sort of vibe. Like obviously different, but like that sort of style. I definitely would get. You know.
With the Harley Quinn thing, the only thing that the thing about Harley Quinn that makes her such a good character, I think, is the dynamic with the Joker too, because she's
Yeah.
the crazy tank girl character, but then she switches to the little like submissive, like yes, Mr. J, like kind of
Yeah.
character that tank girl never does.
Well, and I I feel like it's unfortunate to making that comparison. I almost immediately regret it because with Harley Quinn, like she has such a huge story, and like I kind of wish that Tank Girl had more. Like I wish that she had a tank at the beginning of this movie, or we had like an actual like what were these 11 years like that created this crazy character. Like I love that she is this character, but like I almost am like, what kind of horrible shit did this girl go through? You know what I mean? To like kind of make her this sort of character, similar to the way that Harley, like how we already kind of have a lot of that stuff. I don't know. It was just
Yeah, that and the a little bit of pushback from, I think it has to be from a male. So like the Joker Harley Quinn thing, Tank Girl doesn't have that opposing pushback ever. Like she's just kind of like the omnipotent superhero just going through getting whatever she wants. Like even when she gets beat up, like she like likes getting beat up. We can like get into that with the certain scenes. But yeah, in the comics, I didn't get too far into the comics and it's very chaotic, but her sort of origin story, she starts with a tank. She's just on a mission. Like she's like a bounty hunter to kill somebody. And it also appears that she was trained by there's another character who's like this general. His name is like General Small Unit or something, and he's like that's like the joke about him. But he is like the one who taught her everything she knew, and he has like these nightmares about her coming back and killing him and stuff like that. But like in the comics, that's her backstory. Like she's
oh, okay.
actually trained by the military. She's like a psychopath that couldn't be trusted. Um, and in the very first story, she's like a bounty hunter going after somebody. So there's like a lot more. It's not just like this crazy girl just thrown into this world,
Yeah,
having fun. Like that's kind of
and
what
that's
the
kind of what it
movie
seems like.
seems like.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
works, just fine because it's so
yeah.
fun.
Oh
But
yeah,
it could have used like a little bit more and just a little bit more depth to the character, like we were saying.
yeah, for sure.
So now, after we get the little introduction with her and the music, now we go to the house where her and all her friends are living at, and she had left in the first place to get a birthday present for her boyfriend, and she got him a pair of boots or whatever. And she comes back to the place. We're just looking at the people there. Like I said, to me, it's very punk rock, but it's a very like 90s punk rock in, like I said, sort of the MTV subgenre of punk rock, which wasn't huge at the time. But when you look at all the, especially like the white MTV VJs at the time, like they all look like these characters, like these stoner white dreadlock dudes with like torn clothes and
Mesh
just like,
shirts.
yeah, just like 90s punk rockers. And that's
Yeah,
what like the whole house is. It's just like a big party house. They're like rolling a joint. Like the dude that we're following around the house is just like smoking a joint. He's got to go into like the basement to get some water or something.
yeah.
That's all
Plant
that's happening in
water
this.
the plants.
And so he goes down there and he's like working the pump, and in comes Tank Girl, which for some reason with like a Russian accent, and aims a gun at his dick. And so there's like a laser sight on his dick. And then she's talking to him, telling him he needs to strip. And he's just like going along with it. Like we don't know what's actually happening at first. But especially because she's like using the weird accent, which I don't understand. But they have like a cute little scene where she makes him strip, and then when he gets down to fucking just holding his dick and balls in his hands, she's like, "Now salute me." and and then he says something about, "Oh, I'm not good under pressure." And then the fucking kids run down the stairs and are like, "What the fuck?" And then the boy like covers the girl's eyes. She's like, "Dude, they're being weird again. Let's go. Let's get out of here." That was like a funny little
Well, it's
scene,
a
especially with the
it's a cool
kids running in.
yeah, I just love it, like, says so much, especially, like, in the later scenes, like, how their dynamic, like, because even at the end of that scene, she's like, oh, man, I loved that one." You know what I mean? Like, clearly, they do this all the time,
Yeah, she was.
you
I think
know?
she says, Damn it, I was really getting into that one." Like,
Yeah, yeah, and so it's, like, a cool that's, like, something between them that they do, all the
yeah,
time just to keep,
whatever their little like
yeah,
role play,
they're role
foreplay
playing.
stuff going on.
Yeah.
We go from that little scene. Now we're just like fucking around at the house, showing a little bit more. We get
Oh, and
Tank
then
Girl with the little girl, and
yeah.
they're talking about like Doris Day and stuff, and she's making these little like wood carvings.
The fuck that and then she's like, "Oh, the Ripper speaks to me," or whatever, like, "The wood speaks to me." She's, like, carving, like, a Ripper, and then that the boy's like, "No one's ever seen a Ripper," and then she's all like, "No one's ever seen your peanut dick either."
Yeah,
Just, like, shit like that,
you're
just dumb, I don't know, like, I just yeah.
but yeah, they're just like making fun of the dude's dicks throughout like the entire movie, which does go along with the comic. It's like a little sillier. I think it's funnier in the comic. In the movie, there's less, like I was saying, there's less pushback. There's not a ton of pushback in the comic, but there's sort of less pushback when women are talking shit in the movie. I think it's funnier when there's a back and forth, but after we meet sort of the crew at Tank Girl's house, now we go to meet Water and Power. And
Yeah.
when I first saw these dudes, I was kind of like, is it gonna be like corny? It's just like these old white-haired white men in their suits or whatever. Is it gonna like is it gonna be like that? But it's not. It's like fucking metal. And
It's so
so
good.
we open the scene where all these dudes are sitting around a big table with their little champagne glasses, but it's just water because there's no
Yeah.
water.
They're,
So
like,
that's
all
like,
what are they, like, generals or something? Yeah.
yeah, it's like Malcolm McDowell, who's the main
Dude,
guy,
so good.
and then all his generals. And one of the general dudes, they're toasting to him. It's like he captured like a bunch of land, and he's like, "Oh, we
Yeah,
have
95%.
95% of the land or whatever. Just this little crack right here, this crack of land that we have left to get." And then Malcolm McDowell, he's like, "Oh yeah, just this little crack or whatever." And then he's looking at the big maps over here, and he just starts fucking bashing all the maps. They're made of glass. And he's just bashing the maps, getting super pissed, telling them like that little crack of land is important and we want it. It's ours. And
Yeah.
these people are Tank Girl, and like those people are fucking holding out, and they can't get this last bit of land. So this whole toast and this everything for this general guy turns into like a roast of him. And then Malcolm McDowell makes the dude take off his shoes. And so it's this huge tense scene. It's like the coolest scene I've like ever seen.
Oh,
It's one of the coolest
it was
scenes
so
I've ever
cool.
fucking seen. He makes him take off his shoes, and then he's like, "Now walk to me." And he walks, he's like, he's in such pain as he walks across the broken glass to his like master, his leader essentially over here, who's making him do this crazy, like submissive bullshit
And then he talks shit on him for doing it.
for
I wouldn't have
doing
done
it.
that.
He's like, I would have done. He's telling him he's a fucking pussy and he's weak for doing that, for taking off his shoes and
So
walking
good.
towards him. And then he like gives him this like embrace, and he's like telling him in his ear about how he's fucking weak and shit. And then he pulls out this thing that looks like one of the it looks like the bridge between modern LED light bulbs and the ones that used to be like a little tube. It was like two
Yeah.
little tubes, and he shoves that in the guy's back, and then it just starts fucking like sucking a little bit of blood and then water out of his body, and it expands. It's like this little device to kill people and then suck out their water into this fucking little plastic cup or whatever, this light bulb looking thing.
So metal. So
It's
good.
so fucking metal. It's like the
So
coolest
funny.
thing in the fucking. That's why I was digging so deep into the comics, because I was like, where is this? Because this is the coolest shit in the movie.
Yeah.
But the dude,
Well,
he
and it,
falls down, he dies. The water's being sucked out of the thing and growing on his back, and his skin is like being like sucked dry, like, so he's like deflating his hands and stuff. And then Malcolm McDowell pulls the fucking little thing out of his back and drinks his water, like just kills him, sucks his water out,
and then dude, the
and then
line,
and then drinks
lovely.
his water. Yeah.
He's like, lovely. Well, dude, you know that water would be fucking so warm. Like what, 96.8 or whatever the fuck? Like that's like, or 98.6. Like, that's so funny.
But man, that
Yeah.
was just like the
Wasn't.
whole beginning of the movie is very like well thought out. I think there's a lot of good scenes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good mesh with the music as well. I don't remember the
Yeah.
music in this scene, but the actual like Courtney Love Tank Girl music, that like
Yeah.
that stuff meshes so well. But this scene was just the one of the coolest scenes that I've ever seen in a movie. And I thought it
Yeah.
was going to
So
be
cool.
bad too.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I thought it was going to be corny, because I was like, oh, we got these like 90s punk rock hippies or whatever, and then evil old white man government
Yeah.
guy is like the bad guy. But it's like, no, they went fucking hard
Yeah,
on
dude.
making these guys fucking
So
legitimate
awesome.
enemies, especially Malcolm McDowell. Like
Dude, he's
he's
so great. He was just captivized me every time he was just like so every time he was on screen, dude, he was just amazing.
yeah, I
So
feel
funny.
he should have been more. I think they needed
Yeah.
more of him
Yeah,
actually.
for sure.
But as we'll see later, there's a huge gap
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
he's actually not really in the movie at all.
This next scene though is like when she's like sitting like watching, she's on guard duty or whatever. And that song that plays is the song that I was dude, the Richard Hell Blank Generation. What a fucking song that is. Like I love that song. That was the song that like I out of all the songs in this movie, this is the song that I recognize the most or that I like actually listen to on a regular basis. And it was just such a great like scene, while she's like playing with the puppets and shit and just like showing this crazy character, but just what she does by herself. Like it was just kind of like what she was trying to do, like drinking a beer and smoking a cigarette, like just being Tank Girl and just being that like character. Like I just thought that was such a cool, like almost like, because it wasn't like an intro, because obviously you kind of got an intro, but it was really that the intro to her as like a person, because the other one is more of like an intro to the movie that just kind of, I don't know. It was
Yeah.
like a cool little scene.
Like I said, all the music really meshes so well with her. Like Courtney Love probably
Yeah.
fucking wants to be Tank Girl, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
and you can tell by the way that she, what's the proper word, just like chooses the songs. Like this is the soundtrack to Courtney Love's life as well, and that's why it
Yeah.
ends up being so good. But we go out there, she's on guard duty. She has a little scene with the little girl again, which will kind of be important later. There's like kind of a little good Tank Girl joke there, where the girl comes out, Tank Girl's pretending to be like dead or unconscious or something, and the girl has to like shake her or whatever. And then when Tank Girl finally comes back alive, she's just like laughing at her, and she's like, I got you. And I think the girl calls her a butt wipe. And
Yeah.
then Tank Girl is like, I told you not to say that word. It's not becoming of a lady. And she starts to go into this little British accent, but doesn't like fully, actually. I think she should have like fully done that little joke. but then she's just like, say asshole or dickwad or whatever the fuck other word she has. So that's like a good little joke that fits
Yeah.
Tank Girl's character. And then they pull out this like metal ball, which is like, I guess it's like a weapon. If you don't like fuck with it properly, like these razors come out of the metal ball. So I don't really know what exactly it is. It's like a Batman tool. It's like Batman pulls this razor
Yeah.
ball out of his utility belt and fucking throws it. But they're just treating it like it's a little toy, like the girl just like wants it or whatever because it's cool.
Yeah, I think she picked it up from the guy that she um was scavenging from at the beginning of the movie, like when
Got
she
the
got the boots
boots
for her
or
boyfriend.
whatever.
Yeah.
So she gives the little girl the thing, like shows her how to use it or whatever, gives her the ball. And now we have her boyfriend again. He's still smoking weed and he's in the house. He finds his boots on the bed. She left his new boots there with like a little note that's like fucking it. The note says I snog you, which I think means love in Tank Girl language or just fuck. Maybe it means both things. But it's like basically a little note with all drawings to tell him to like come out and find her. And the girl, the female drawing on there is like this little stick figure with boobs or whatever. But Tank Girl actually has the stick figure with boobs drawing as a tattoo on her arm as well. Like
Oh, that's cool.
I thought that was a cool little connection that the drawing there,
Yeah.
the little like here, walk out here to me. And then the drawing is her. It's actually the tattoo that she has on her arm. So
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
that was cool. So now we cut to a scene of the boots out in the sand and he's walking along the hill or whatever, gets to her and she doesn't turn around to see him. She just hears him over her shoulder and she knows he's there and she's just like, I knew you couldn't resist. And then just like the awesome scene at Water and Power, this is one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen as well. One of the
Yeah.
sexiest scenes I've ever seen
Oh
where
yeah.
she pulls out the scissors and she's like
Those scissors are so awesome.
they're like little kid scissors with like shit glued to them and stuff. And she's like snip snip and you just have to watch. And then this fucking sexy ass music starts playing as she's cutting up her fucking pantyhose and like cutting her clothes and shit. She cuts off the
Like the strap of her
the
overalls or
strap of
whatever.
her overalls, yes, which
Yeah.
she's wearing overalls, which is also funny. She's also got makeup and a hat like the dude from Clockwork Orange. She has the little
Yeah.
like fake little eyelashes drawn
The
on the one eye.
style, I like her style though, like was awesome. Like throughout the whole movie, like all the different costumes, like
Yeah, I thought this little Clockwork Orange throwback thing was pretty cool. The comic strip is British, so you
would
know
make
Stanley
sense.
Kubrick is also British, but as she cuts her overalls strap, she's like, "You can come a little closer," and then a gun cocks behind her, so it's like not her boyfriend. It's it's actually the Water and Power guys. They're like in all black. She turns around and then sees the troops or whatever storm her house, her with all her fucking friends in it. And then she's out there at gunpoint. But the guy, he's just like, he's not trying to kill her. He's not like whatever. He's just like, we'll keep going. We were just getting
We're just getting to the good stuff.
yeah. So then we start with it went from like the really sexy sort of punk rock music to now it's like a cartoon, like Looney Tunes. There's a hot babe on stage and everybody is like awooga wolfing her. Like that's the sort of like on stage big band sexy lady music that starts playing, which is a little silly, but like works. I think it's a little silly because the other music is real, and then we go
Yeah.
into like the cartoon stuff. But like that is how the comic strip works. So it's like fine. So then she fucking gets the better of him because he's a dude who's so captivated by pretty female that
Yeah.
she can like get the jump on him. So she fucking like hits him in the nuts, runs away, makes some again like some little like cartoon joke of like, are you missing something or whatever? And she shows him like the pins to his grenades. And then he's just like, oh, and fucking like blows up right there. It's like silly, but it's like fine. It works perfectly
Yeah,
fine for the movie.
it was like cool. Yeah.
And then she gets a gun, or she grabbed his gun, and now she's like in a firefight with all these dudes, just like rolling around in the dirt, fucking
Just
shooting
like hip
everybody.
firing this assault rifle and just like
Yeah.
with the most accuracy. Like I can't even
She never
believe.
puts it to her shoulder. I always think that that's silly when they don't teach people how to use a gun, because
Yeah, it
she
was
just
literally
shoots
just like
it from right
da-da-da-da-da-da.
here. She just shoots it from her
Yeah,
hip, which is
yeah,
like kind of okay,
yeah,
but still, like it would make more sense if they taught her like how to properly use a gun. And then you see her like being this crazy super soldier, and it makes more sense
yeah,
as opposed to just like rolling around like a weirdo. Because she is rolling, she's rolling around like a kid who's like
yeah,
playing
yeah, yeah.
like guns or whatever. But
But I think she sees her boyfriend die right here.
yeah, we're looking at the house, and we see the little girl is like screaming at her to help. And then we see her boyfriend in the window, and he just gets shot up like a cartoon with just his arms at his sides, and is just like, ugh, just like taking a million bullets right in front of her face, which is super funny because that only gets brought up for like zero point 0.5 seconds later. Like we had this really long intro with her friends and her boyfriend and everything. And then we watch her boyfriend get shot up like this. And then it's
Yeah.
almost never brought up ever again. Like her
Well, which
friends, her boyfriend at all, like they just kind of like forgot.
I like it's funny because like it sounds like you don't like that, but like I actually think that like fits this character very well because it seems like she just clearly doesn't like can't deal, like can't process anything. So she just jokes and that's how she gets through stuff. And like her whole personality is, well, fuck. And you could see that she's like upset at that one moment, but then like immediately moves on and is just like it's all like a defense mechanism. At least that's what it seems like to me. Like as a character, those whole like things. And maybe I'm looking too much into it, but it just seems like that's like how she kind of gets through life is just by joking and being this crazy person, you know, like
Yeah, I would agree that it 100% fits her character. And it would actually, because I was thinking about it throughout the movie. I was like, why? Like, they set all this up, though. That's kind of the thing. Like,
yeah,
the whole thing is about it's her boyfriend's birthday. She went to go get him a present. She has the cute little scene with him, making him
yeah,
strip.
multiple role
She gives
playing,
him
like
the
yeah,
boots, and the whole little strip tease thing was for him. And then just like never again, her boyfriend or any of her friends does she
yeah,
like ever mention. And I just think it's funny. Like it does seem to suit I don't think the comic book character, they would ever have a later issue of like, you killed my friends and now I'm fucking like here for revenge, or my boyfriend, I'm heartbroken. Like that's not like what this character is about. It's just really funny how they set it up as a movie. And then they
yeah,
just like, oh, that stuff's done. Like forget about that. Because now the dudes, they grab her, they're gonna shoot her, but one dude is like, whoa, wait, we could have a lot of fun with her. And so then they decide to keep her, but they do shoot her yak. They tell
oh
her
yeah,
that she's been like a bad girl for stealing water, and they shoot her yak, and then she spits in their face and says, "Here's your water." And so then they pistol whip her and knock her unconscious. And from this pistol whip scene, we segue to the plane taking her to Water and Power as a prisoner, with this comic book scene of the screen just goes black after she gets pistol whipped. And then there's just this fucking little thought bubble that's like, this is me unconscious for like 2 seconds. And that's their sort of segue screen wipe screen, which I thought was actually pretty good. Like just
yeah,
throwing those little bits of comic stuff into the movie however they can, it works almost every time.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I loved every single one of those transitions. Like it was just such a cool thing.
So now we're on the plane with them. We just get like a scene where they're trying to like fuck her or whatever. Actually, only one dude is trying to fuck her. And the other dudes are telling him like, dude, don't. Like she's gonna, she's just gonna bite it off. Like he's trying to get her to suck his dick. Just like in the plane. She's sitting there with no restraints or anything. And so of course, again, she just makes fun of him for having a small dick. And he fucking knees her in the head. She tells him, she's like, oh, you got to be careful. You're getting me hot by getting kneed in the fucking face, which I like all those things, how she's
Yeah.
like turned on by physical violence like this, because that's exactly how the comic character is in
Yeah.
this very like comical cartoon way. Like that's part of what I think should be taken a little bit further. Like you can make all those jokes that you want because they're funny. And as you can see, whenever there's one of those jokes, like Lori Petty pulls it off. You're saying in the
Oh, absolutely.
interview that she wanted it to be like what I'm saying. She wanted it to be
Yeah.
more sexual.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then when there is an opportunity for her to do that, like she pulls it off really well.
Yeah.
You can't think of very many other movies where a girl gets fucking kneed in the face because she doesn't want to suck some dude's dick, but then she makes a joke about how she's getting turned on by getting beat up. Like that's a really funny aspect of Tank Girl's character that always works.
Her just baiting him into being like, "Hey, who here wants an oil change?" Like,
Oh
hey, and
yeah.
then she's like, and so
She's like,
she's just
which one of
essentially
you
baiting all these guys,
gorgeous
and
guys?
this guy follows through, and then the second that he does, she just immediately is just like to all his friends, "Oh, I gonna need a microscope and tweezers. It's so small." And then like, and all it's just such a great thing. And then like eventually she just fucking kills him, and then she's like, "What?" Like, they all pull the gun, like just such a great.
It's just like a funny scene. Like those all the scenes like that work pretty well. Especially I think like I was saying, like I need a little bit of pushback and just like the physical violence, but and then her reaction to the physical violence is enough of like a pushback. Even though these characters suck, like they're not Malcolm McDowell or
Right.
like that kind of good like pushback. But once we go and we meet Michael McDowell.
Well, no, I think it's isn't it the introduction to the Jet character, right? It's like that one general that took over for the guy who got, his water sucked out. It's a scene of him hitting on the Jet girl and saying, "Hey, I need you to, hey, I need this all done by today or by tomorrow, or I need it all done, as soon as possible." She's like, "I'll have it done in Wednesday, have it done tomorrow, or unless you want to change my mind." And he's essentially being like, "Hey, fuck me," like he's trying to get her. And then the next scene is that guy bringing her in.
Okay. So we meet Jet Girl. Jet Girl's great.
Yeah.
I think she needed a little bit more stuff in the movie. Like she becomes a better character as the movie goes on, but I think she needed to be in the movie a little bit more
Feel like she's like
for
the
me.
only one that actually had a character arc, really. Like
Yeah, everyone else like Tank Girl is just Tank Girl the
they're
whole
just all
movie. Like
yeah,
everyone is just like yeah, she in a way Jet Girl almost feels like the main character
yeah,
because when we're in prison with her, like Lori Petty is still just having fun. Like the whole movie is Lori Petty having like a blast no matter what's going on. But Jet Girl is the one who's like really struggling. She's like in jail. She's not like thinking about escaping. She's like afraid, like a mousy little girl. And then she becomes like, like more of a warrior towards the end. But when we first get Lori Petty in like the water and power fortress or whatever we want to call it, Malcolm McDowell again. Every scene he's in, there's like
dude,
something really
so
funny
good.
with him.
Yeah.
And the first thing he does is walk down the hallway, and there's these jets of water in the doorway that's like ribbons or like even beads, like hippie beads hanging in the door. But as he walks up to him, the jet stream stops And then he walks through the water door. It's so fucking simple and cool. Like it's just super cool. And Malcolm McDowell just walking through his or his water palace, the doors being water and like moving out of his way as he comes in is just so fucking funny.
Such a great villain. Such a great villain.
And then he's having a conversation with Tank Girl, and um and she's saying something about, if you're gonna kill me or fucking lick me or like whatever you want to do, just do it, but stop with this stupid fucking this poetry
Poetry.
bullshit. And he basically just tells her that she's gonna go to work. They're gonna put her to work in the fucking
You'll submit.
in the prisons. So now we're just in the prison. We get this shower scene with Tank Girl, and there's a sign in there that says like shower with your underwear on, like we don't do that laundry or whatever, which is like
Yeah.
pretty funny. But she goes into the showers, and again we get another sexy music scene. The song is a Portishead song. I don't know the exact song, but I love Portishead. I think all their songs are like really, really groovy and kind of sexy to begin with. And then her
Yeah, that was
voice is
great.
really sexy. And so
It
then we
fit
get
that scene so well.
then we get Tank Girl going into the shower, and she fucking takes the thing, and of course it's not water. So it sprays like lice powder or like powdered soap or something on her, or maybe even just sand. And then she starts using a fucking like air thing to fucking like that's how they're taking a shower. But it's actually super sexy for like the three
Oh yeah.
seconds. And I think that this scene should have gone on a little bit more. Just
Yeah.
because it was sexy. The music comes in like there's going to be a whole sexy scene. And again, Lori Petty wants to do it. So like give her those sexy scenes. I think that's like what I'm going to be saying throughout the entire thing, is that Lori Petty should have been allowed to be more provocative in some of these moments,
Yeah.
because it works great, but it's only like 3 seconds. And then
Yeah.
we cut to Jet Girl and the douchey general guy over there, and he's like still trying to like hit on her or whatever. So Tank Girl just comes over out of her shower and is like, "Hey, stop picking on my girlfriend." And she just fucking starts making out with Jet Girl. And the dude is just like, he's just like grossed out, and he's fucking
Which is
like,
like, what
"Ugh."
the fuck is that dude's deal? Like,
I'd be like, "Oh, like
I was
I
like,
would at
okay, good
least
job.
stay and watch a little
Yeah.
while." Not just be like,
Yeah.
"Ugh," and fucking like walk away. But that's what he does. And this is the first time that those two even meet, Tank
Yeah.
Girl and Jet Girl. And so then Jet Girl is kind of like grossed out, and she's just kind of like, "Well, I guess it worked." And Tank Girl's like, "What worked?" And as if she just like came
So good.
over to make out with her.
I love it.
And I laughed there, but then Tank Girl laughed. I feel like Tank Girl didn't need to laugh because the joke had
Yeah.
already been made. That's like a little nitpicky thing, but we're just
Yeah.
talking about the
There was
movies
another,
and how the movie is made, little things that could be better, you know. And
of
for
course.
some of
Yeah.
these jokes, I don't think Tank Girl needs to respond.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I think it's already a joke.
In the same as that first scene when she has that accent with the boyfriend and then the kids come and she's like, damn, like I thought that her use of saying, like, I don't know, I thought it was just kind of the same, like,
Even the scene where she in the plane where she breaks the guy's neck, and then everyone puts their gun on her, and she's like,
yeah,
"What?" Like,
yeah,
I don't
like
think that
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 worked.
necessarily needs to be there. That one's the best of them. That one's like
Yeah.
fine. But a lot of these little like self-awareness kind of jokes, I don't really need. And it's also a little more annoying to me now, because like I always say, there's so many modern actors who don't know how to come up with a character, and their whole character is a self-aware sarcastic asshole. So then when you're getting this character who's a self-aware sarcastic asshole, some of the things I'm kind of annoyed by, because I end up seeing them so much in modern settings. But for this character, it's like fine. It's like being very, very nitpicky about these little scenes. I just don't need a reaffirmation of the joke, especially when she's making out with Jet Girl, because I already laughed. But then she laughs as it, you know what I mean? Then they like go on and add like an extra punchline to the joke that I didn't feel was entirely necessary. But from here, Tank Girl, she's like sneaking around the facility and finds a tank. For whatever reason, they would put these prisoners anywhere near tanks, even if they're like not activated. But here we have like another like cartoon cut back and forth, or comic cut back and forth, where she's like looking at the barrel, and then her face in the comic of just awe,
Like her just falling in love with it.
and then she climbs up in the tank and starts fucking with it.
Yeah, so she's like hitting all these buttons, and then it's asking for like security clearance, and then she's just like making jokes and just doing whatever, and then it says there's going to be cyanide gas that gets released, and it's like a countdown, and then essentially Jet like saves her and puts in like a code because the tank locks, and then goes in there, because Tank Girl's like, all right, let's get this thing going, like let's get out of here, let's escape, kind of thing, like
And this
make
is
this
where
tank
we
work.
see Jet Girl being like really apprehensive. She doesn't want to get caught. She doesn't want to get in trouble. She doesn't want to get like beat or raped or like whatever is going on here.
Yeah,
And during this scene, there's there's just like a slight cutaway to Malcolm McDowell again in his water palace, and he's just playing with a tiny squirt gun. It's like that big, and he just like squirts it twice, and it's just so funny. Like it's a 2-second scene, but it's just so funny that the evil villain just like playing with his little
that
squirt gun.
general is like, "What should we do, sir?" And then he just sprays him in the face. Like just so funny, like just so awesome. Like he definitely just yeah. But it's funny because they're like watching a camera feed of them in the tank, and he's
Yeah.
even like, "Oh, she's gonna be so fun to break." I think the next scene is like a scene where does she get captured? No, she doesn't get captured. No, first it's like the asshole dude takes Jet's. She's like, "Oh, you have fun with your girlfriend." Like that little scene, and then he takes her flying privileges away and like takes all of her shit away essentially, and then she goes to the bathroom and cries, and then Jet Girl convincing her essentially to be like if why are you crying, like you just got to let it happen, it's just like your first time, like that scene right there where she's like, what did she say, she's like, you don't have to be scared, think of it as if it's your first time you had sex. You just got to say, "Daddy, are you sure this is right?"
Yeah.
Like so, like that scene, dude. I'm like, dude, this is so great. And then she just gets like pulled out or whatever, and she like laughs.
Yeah,
And yeah,
it's like again, that line is the great Tank Girl stuff that I like. Like it doesn't
yeah,
even like you're not supposed to fucking like be talking about your dad fucking you in like a good way to a to a girl. Like you're
like
trying to make her
turn this
feel
frown
better.
upside down. Yeah, she's literally like trying to make her smile.
It's like the
Yeah,
perfect thing to say. Like it's so
yeah.
funny.
Well,
It
because
makes
she
Jet
even
Girl
smiles.
laugh. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she even breaks it down even more. Hey, why do you always cover your smile? Like you're beautiful. You have great teeth. Like what the fuck? Like she's like trying to like build her up more, and then
And then they just yank her out
yeah.
of the bathroom. I don't remember exactly. Do we go into the different like tortures now?
Yeah, they put her in the freezer first.
Yeah, and it's just like a little torture scene, and basically for her to say she's in a straitjacket in the freezer, and then Malcolm McDowell comes in to see if she's broken yet, basically, and she's just like, I can't even play with myself in this thing.
And her eyes all blue and shit. Like,
Yeah, and then they go to another torture scene where they
yeah.
like tie her up on this board, and they're like it's called the pipe or something. I thought there was going to be like a pipe joke about, like a dick joke, but there wasn't. And it's like a fucking water slide that they throw her down head first, and then she just like stays at the bottom of the long tube, and like the
Yeah, he said
water
it gets
can
smaller
fill
the
up.
further you go down.
Yeah, there was a lot of jokes that I thought was going to be about fucking sex, but there was no sex jokes. And there was also then he throws her down the tube, and I thought that it was going to be I thought she was going to be like, "Wee," like treat it like a ride. Because that's actually there was almost none of that in the movie. That's a big part of the comic where every time she's just driving a tank, she's like driving it completely off a cliff and she's just like throwing her hands up in the air like it's a roller coaster. I thought the pipe was going to be like a fun ride for her as well, but
It seems like the way I interpreted it was that like this was the breaking, like, because she's like, oh, that sounds wicked, like let me go first. But like the second that she got in, she was actually scared, and then the second that she was there by herself, all of those thoughts that we know about her boyfriend and her and the girl, they all came in, and then that was like that flash scene where it showed all those things, and then it moved
for
to
for like a second
the next
they do
scene.
show
Yeah,
that.
then the next scene was like the Ripper attack, right? I think that it like kind of moves to that.
So there's a Ripper attack while she's still in the pipe, and then they pull her out of the pipe because they decide they're like, we need someone who's like crazy and expendable, basically. And they want her to like find the Ripper holes. So they pull her out of the tank and he thinks that she's like broken or whatever and that he's won. And he's like telling her this. And he's like, now you see things my way. And she's just like, you know what I see? A big honking booger hanging out of your nostril. Why don't you use this finger to pick it out? Another good tank roll
Yeah.
like joke. We go from there to the Ripper holes, but now things get like sped up almost. Like things just
Yeah,
are just like happening. Like the
the
freezer
story is
scene,
definitely
the pipe thing, the story is getting like turning into like little pieces here and there that they're just sort of having to jam together. And so they take her, their plan is to get her to find the Ripper holes so that they can like kill these people or whatever they are. We don't technically know yet. They shoot her with a tracker in the leg, which comes into play later. But other than that, it's like there's just an attack. It just fucking happens while they're all there, and we don't see barely any of the action. I think Tank Girl gets knocked out or something, and then she comes back too, and like everyone's dead. And she finds Malcolm McDowell's hand, like half of his arm and his hand are just like there.
and it had the tracker on his arm and his wrist.
Yeah, so she like knew that that was him. Just a very very quick scene. I almost didn't know what actually happened there.
Yeah. Yeah, it did happen very fast. Jet comes down. Jet lands the plane at that place. Then they meet up, and then that's where she finds a working tank, and then there's like another then there's an animated thing where they another animated like transition.
Oh yeah, as they sort of get the tank working or whatever, which is just her like mashing buttons and
Yeah, she's like mashing with the tank, and then the tank, the gun part like hits Jet in the head, and then that's when like the whole cartoon or like the animated like area like happens, and then it transitions to him like getting some bad advice from a woman doctor.
yeah. And the like getting the tank working with the comic transition, and there was also a comic transition when they're fighting or when the Rippers attack and kill everybody. And like I said, I think all those work well, but then you start seeing them from here on where it's like in lieu of actually having a scene, they're putting just like comic book stuff and music. Like it seems really rushed sometimes, even though it does work.
Yeah.
But now we're back at the fucking water palace and we're not seeing much, but he's like Malcolm McDowell is down on the like medical table. He has this white thing completely over his face. They're telling him like there's not much left or something like of his facial tissue. He's missing his hand. I think he already has the mechanical hand.
No, he's missing it because no, he the doctor is saying there's not much I could do, and then all of a sudden the douchey guy, general guy comes in and whispers him. He's like, "Hey, And then he says that that Asian doctor is there, and then the Asian doctor comes out, and he has like he's just like, all the king's horses and all the king's men wish they had the technology I had.
Yeah,
And
he's
then, but it's like
really
through like a
crazy.
little speaker in his, because he's speaking in,
I don't know if he's speaking in Chinese or not. I don't
yeah, I don't
really
know,
remember,
dude. But
but
he looked so funny with his like shaved head and then like the long, like it was just
yeah, the
hilarious. Like
long mustache and the long
he
hair.
looked like a Turtles villain or something from
Yeah,
like,
like a weird mystical like
yeah,
evil doctor villain guy with the voice translator was actually really cool. He's
yeah. I
like
thought that was
speaking
cool. Oh,
whatever language and then the translator
another,
is like immediately translating it at the same
yeah.
time.
Which was so for the 90s, dude. That's like yeah, that was awesome. But no, what was funny too is during this scene they had the what is it called, like the monitor that like shows his life signs. It was waves. Like it was just like a cool little like water themed
And that's funny.
thing
I
when he
didn't
was like,
actually notice that.
yeah, it was really cool. And but yeah, and so then when that guy shows up, then the McDowell guy whispers into the woman doctor. I don't remember exactly what she says, but he essentially kills her, and he's like, I'm this guy's gonna help me or whatever." And then another one of those water stab things.
He stabs her with the little water light bulb pump, which is like the coolest thing. I also didn't see any of that in the comics. I don't know if that's something they made up for the movie or whatever, but that is one of the coolest things.
Yeah,
Now we go to another quick little, it's like a junkyard scene or like a little thrift store thing. And they
yeah,
find one of the sculptures that the little girl was doing
yeah,
from the original house. And then just like a random third woman comes out. It's just Tank Girl and Jet Girl going through this little store. And a random woman comes out. They're trying to ask her, where did the sculpture come from? It's kind of so disjointed. Like, I don't even need to explain like how everything happens. They just discover that the little girl was kidnapped by Water and Power. Then the woman is just like, oh, well, you can fix up your tank and stuff in my garage. And then just immediately cut to another comic music montage scene where they're fixing up the tank and I guess the jet as well, but they're like fixing up their vehicles.
yeah. Because the lady was just like this. The girl's at Liquid Silver, and then they're like, "We'll never get there without this." Blah blah blah. Well, you can do this and give it a makeover, which seemed like unnecessary. Like, why wouldn't you just park and just like walk away? Like, I don't understand. Like, seems like a lot of work just to go somewhere. Like, but whatever.
Yeah, it was a really rushed little scene. They just had to give you the information that okay, the little girl is still alive. The junkyard scene, which was really quick and just kind of mushed in there, we just really quickly appear at the fucking strip club. This scene is actually really cool, but again, I think it needs to be longer. It needs more stuff going on because we get there, we just walk straight in. There's like a little comic scene of the madam who is like the hen mother or whatever of the brothel strip club thing, whatever's going on here. And the cartoon imagery is cool, but then we like don't really get much. The madam does say, oh, there's, some guy, he wants a younger girl. And the madam is like, oh, we'll give her Tank Girl's little friend. Like, I don't remember her name, but
Damn.
they send the little girl in there. So then Tank Girl and Jet Girl walk in and they're having to like infiltrate the place. Like music just happens and they start like putting on outfits or
Yeah.
Jet Girl like steals someone else's clothes.
Yeah.
Tank Girl goes into like the dressing room or locker room and is getting like this instructional video of how to be one of the girls. But she's just like putting on every fucking outfit and it's just like this fast forward scene of her just like having fun, trying on outfits. And then again, like I've been saying, that I think the movie needs
And
to
it
go
was all sped
further.
up too.
Yeah, it was like fast forward scenes. But again, like I've been saying about the movie needing to be a little bit more sexual and take certain scenes further. Like the outfit that she actually puts on is kind of boring. Like it's just like a black shirt kind of and like some shorts with like pins on them or whatever. Like any one of the other outfits she tried on during the little montage, I feel like would have been better, would have been cooler. I think Jet Girl's outfit is like pretty cool, but we don't get to like see her that much. But Tank Girl's outfit is just kind of boring. Like it's not even that I want it to be like super sexy or something. It's just like
Yeah.
one of the more boring outfits.
Like all that like outfit change scene did was showing us all these way cooler outfits that she could have been wearing, and
Yeah.
then she picked something that's less cool. Like that was
Yeah.
basically what that whole
Just
scene was.
just
It's
like
like, come on.
boring. Which she could have
Yeah.
did. There was the
Yeah.
nurse one, there was the BDSM one with the whip, which would, any of these other ones would have been funnier.
Yeah.
Especially to now go into this big musical number.
Well,
She
no,
should have been
first
wearing a
first
fucking better outfit. Oh, first we get Iggy Pop.
first dude, for Iggy Pop, dude, that's why I was like, we can't skip over Iggy Pop, dude. Rat Face is his name, which
Yeah.
is hilarious. And he wanted this the schoolgirl, and then she uses the, I guess she called it the clapper, which was that same, tool that Tank Girl gave her.
Yeah, the
Um,
little razor
a little
ball
razor
thing.
ball or whatever. Yeah. And then which also I feel like that scene could have been a little bit longer. Like it was
Yeah,
so fast, like
Iggy
literally
Pop
just
is so funny. He does another character like this in Dead Man with Johnny Depp and with the Neil
yeah.
Young soundtrack. And he's
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
like a pervert guy in a dress who's like hitting on Johnny Depp. And it's all weird and uncomfortable and super funny. And here he's playing, I think he was wearing like a fucking, if it wasn't a dress, it was like a hospital gown.
It was like I think it was just a robe. I think it was straight up
Oh,
just a
maybe a
robe.
robe,
Like,
but
yeah,
it looked like cheap. Maybe that's why I thought it was like a hospital gown. But it's like
yeah.
2 seconds where he's just like dragging her by the arm, and I guess he's going to take her to the room or whatever. But then she like fucking gives him the ball, and it immediately she makes it fucking like razor
He
out on
claps.
him, and then
Yeah.
he gets fucked up. But that's the whole scene. Like it's probably
Yeah.
shorter than what I just described.
And then Tank Girl just shows up, happens to show up and grabs her. Like it's
Yeah,
just
it
so
just takes her
fast.
away.
Like to waste Iggy Pop like that is a shame.
Yes, this whole
But I'm glad he
scene,
was part of it.
the madam, Iggy Pop, the outfits, and now we get into this really big musical number
Yeah,
where
that was definitely like very
Tank
odd.
Girl like forces the madam to
Yes.
sing like a Cole Porter song or some shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why of all
And
the
then
shit
everybody
she
sings.
likes, yeah, but she likes Doris Day from the beginning of the, she's talking about Doris Day in the beginning of the movie. Then she's talking about Cole Porter. Like these are like the oldest shits that you can like think of. Like it's weird references for Tank Girl to be making, I think. But either way, they just go into Tank Girl and Jet Girl just cause this massive musical number where everyone on stage is singing and dancing, and it's just fucking
Even the guys,
ridiculous.
like it's like everybody is. It's like
Yeah,
insane.
the dudes who are like patrons of the brothel or whatever are jumping on stage to like be a part of the thing. It's like out of control. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like fine, it's funny, but again, all this shit shoved into like a 5-minute scene is
Yeah.
like they just needed to expand on this strip club scene a lot more because went to a lot of effort. Like there was the huge stage and everyone had
Yeah. Well,
outfits.
that was filmed that they filmed that in an abandoned mall in Phoenix. They like they got that's where they filmed that whole dance scene or liquid silver essentially. That whole scene was all done in a mall. There was like escalators and shit, like they just obviously, like it was just funny to see like,
Yeah, I didn't think about it at the time, but like the escalators. And then when they were just walking by like shop doors, they were like when Iggy Pop
yeah,
was taking the girl, like there's
yeah,
just like these like shop doors. It looks weird. It still looked cool. It still was
yeah,
a great scene and everything. It just needed to have more. It needed to be expounded upon there. And I wanted to see Jet Girl had the better outfit too, but they
yeah.
never
They
like
should have definitely,
really showed her much or even zoomed
yeah,
out. Cause when she was on screen, I was like, zoom out, like show her
yeah,
with like, cause she's looking good.
absolutely. Yeah, and then like the douchey Sergeant Small guy, he was like, "What is that? What is that music? Stop that music!" Like so ridiculous. And then all of a sudden, like armed guards and gas grenades just storm the place, and then they escape. But then somehow they lose the girl, and then the girl gets
Yeah,
captured.
Tank
Like
Girl and
what a
they're like
weird.
have the girl right with them, and then
Yeah,
somehow they lose her, and she gets recaptured.
yeah. There's two of them because she's too busy fucking dancing. Like it's just so like crazy. Yeah. Um, and then immediately after they leave and they're like, well, we're going to go to the Rippers to find help. Like we need an army to get this girl.
Yeah, and we go and we see now the little girl at Water and Power, and she's
Yeah.
tied up, and Malcolm McDowell comes back into play. We don't see what's going on with his face yet, but we see his Dr. Claw fucking arm, which is insane because not only do they give him the metal Dr. Claw arm, but then a little bit later, they have a scene where he's sitting in a chair with his back, and all you can see is the Dr. Claw arm, just like in
Yeah.
Inspector Gadget. And then he's laughing in a wheezing way, just like Dr. Claw's cat from Inspector Gadget. So
Yeah.
they like
So good.
they went hard on the Inspector Gadget references there, but that's cool. Like I like
Yep.
Inspector
It
Gadget.
worked.
I thought it was great. Even though I was like, are they really? Like this is full on Inspector Gadget right now.
So good.
And in his Dr. Claw hand, it has like these tiny little rotating blades all over it. And then he's talking to the little girl, and then he just bashes the fucking pillar right here and completely saws it in half.
Which is hilarious and would not happen. Like
Yeah, he would the like place would crumble. He's just like knocking out
yeah.
all the support structures. But
So funny.
then we go to Tank Girl and Jet Girl, and they're literally just walking around randomly in the desert. And they're like, "We got to
Yeah.
find the Ripper hideout. We need an army." I heard it was. They said it was by these two rocks, and they're just like walking by two rocks and just fall into it. They just like it just happens. Like this is the scene. Uh, Again, I think a lot of these scenes are fine because if you read the comic or if you just read comics in general, you know how chaotic and all over the place it can be. They're just going to cut to here, cut to there, whatever. A lot of
Yeah.
times reading comics or manga, you're just like, wait a minute, why? What the fuck? Like, why? How did I get here? Because in a
Yeah.
movie, you're getting little subtle things. Even if they're not showing you anything, you're still the way that the music pans out of the scene, you get a sense of what's coming in the next scene. You know what I mean? Like musical changes.
Yeah.
There's other things
Yeah.
which the movie does do. In a comic, it's much more disjointed, and you're going to be much more confused. But they just get fucking they fall into the Ripper holes or whatever. They get captured. They end up in a locked in a closet full of bowling balls. It's probably like the best little like cell that you could put anyone in. They're just like
Well, because they're in a
in a
bowling alley. They're in like
yeah.
an underground. They're in like a bowling alley. So yeah, so good.
So they're in there. They're captured by the Rippers, and they're brought out of the closet, and they're just giving them fucking like helium or like laughing
Well, I
gas
think
or
it's
like
it's laughing gas,
anesthesia,
and they call it like truth serum or
truth
whatever. They like
serum.
call it like truth gas or whatever
I don't
because
know why
it's like
they had it at the fucking bowling alley. I guess they just got it from somewhere else, but
yeah, yeah.
they're trying to like figure out who they are and like get
They're
information out of
thinking
them.
Ice-T's thinking they're spies.
Yeah, Ice-T is here. And the dudes, I guess we haven't even said, the Rippers, because they haven't been
Oh yeah.
introduced, are kangaroo men. Like they're all men. And they
Yep.
look so fucking funny. Like they look
Yeah, dude, they
so
look great.
funny. The Ice-T, when Ice-T showed up, and I just hear fucking Ice-T's voice coming out of that fucking rabbit, dude. I laughed so hard. And what makes them look so funny is because they don't have a snout.
Right.
So it's just a flat, like, because everything else actually
Yeah.
looks really good. The
Yeah, it
ears,
all looks great.
the makeup colorization, everything looks really good, but they just
Like
have
the
a flat
scars,
face.
like you see scars and like how it's like almost like a deform, like it's all fucked up. Like it looks so good.
Yeah, just the lack of snout is what makes it look funny
Yeah,
when Ice-T is like fucking in a bad mood. He's just
yeah.
because Ice-T, his whole character is so pissed. I literally think he showed up to set and was like, fuck all this feminist bullshit. Like, feel like he didn't like it or something. Like,
Well, what's funny is like it took them so long to get put into those fucking things. They hated it. It was just
I
awful
bet they
because
did. It
it's
looks
like you
very
can't,
extensive.
because like their ears were actually like, down here when they had their, and so like they couldn't itch them. Like it was just like, oh my god, it was so funny. I listened to this like an interview with them, and they were like fucking like miserable, just absolutely miserable.
And of all the people, it's Ice-T as well, because
Yeah,
you know that he was fucking pissed. Oh, I guess also along with the costumes and the makeup, their shoes it's like two shoes sewn together because kangaroos have
yeah,
like the two big toes. So you literally, it's like two Converse and they're sewn side by side and they're giving the truth serum to the girls. And the first thing that Tank Girl says, because of the giant shoes, she's like, is it true what they say about guys with big shoes? And then the one dude is like, yes. Yeah, he's like immediately just like, yeah, I got a big dick. Well, let's do it right now. And
yeah.
they're deciding what to do. Ice-T, of course, is like, let's waste them. And the one dude who's wearing either a Hooters shirt or a Playboy shirt the whole time is like, let's hump them. Just like in like very 90s like
So
fashion.
funny.
It's just like, let's hump
Well,
them.
it's what's funny about each of these characters is clearly like they have their own personality. There's like a beatnik guy or like a poet dude who plays the saxophone.
Yeah,
There's the fucking
Jack
iced tea.
Kerouac, it's supposed to be.
Yeah, there's just all these different fucking, like,
Ice-T
there's
used to be a cop.
there's the booga guy who's like half dog or whatever the
Booga,
fuck, who's like
Booga
clearly
used to be.
like
It's they go through everyone, and it's like I used to be a cop. I used to be the
yeah,
one dude is like I used to be the junior department manager at fucking whatever hardware store, and you think that that's like the silly one. The one dude is like I'm reincarnated Jack Kerouac, and then the one
yeah.
dude's like I used to be a dog, but I was such a good boy that they put me on human standards or something. And then there's like a pause, and he's like, "Not really." As if like not about the
Oh,
dog, but as if like he wasn't such a good dog that he got put on. Like
yeah.
that, like that part was a lie.
But yeah, basically after this, they get a like an idea. They hear that there's a shipment coming, and then they send the girls as initiation. They're like, well, if you want to prove that you're not water and ice or water and power, go and prove that these crates are weapons and not fucking
Because
toilet paper or whatever the fuck.
they see the girls and they're wearing water and power stuff. They're like they have water and power tattoos, like, but these were just markings from prison or whatever. And before they send him out, they stick him back in the bowling ball room for a while. And then one of the dudes comes, the dude who wants to hump, the junior department manager at the hardware store who wants to fuck. He comes to the door and he's like chatting with them. The girls are like trying to like manipulate him a little bit, but then all the dudes come and say that
Yeah,
this is the plan, this is what they're going to do, and they're like, but first, you need to strip. And then
yeah,
the
dude.
one dude is like, what? We don't need to do that. And then the other dudes are like, why not? It's like, it's so funny. And then I'm like, okay. And we skip ahead and there's music starts playing. And then Tank Girl is like on the couch. All the dudes are watching. And Tank
Yeah.
Girl's on the couch and she takes off like her jacket or something. And then they just start talking. Then they just go into the plan. And I'm like, the girls didn't strip. There wasn't even like a make believe scene of stripping. Like, what happened there? Because they made a whole point. Like, they did the whole joke where they're
And I think
like,
they even made there was like a
everyone
music
looks.
change and everything.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah,
music change as you see the camera zoom out from the guys' faces, and you start to see Tank Girl, and she's like taking something off, and it's
yeah,
like an outer piece of armor or like whatever.
yeah,
But you think that it's going into that scene, and that's the perfect scene to have. You can even have Jet Girl be like, like she's the sort of shy one, so maybe she doesn't really want to be doing it, but they go ahead, and then it's funny to have the kangaroos like oogling the girls. Like, it's funny. I think they
yeah.
should have had that scene. It would have been very quick, wouldn't have taken much direction, or like it would have been fine. But they didn't want to do that. I also want to say that Jack Kerouac is not it's not like an intellectual black guy with the little like beads in his hair and the little circle glasses like the actor is. Jack Kerouac is a white alcoholic dude who
That's funny.
who was a poet. He was a beat poet and into jazz, although they have him full on like reciting poetry and playing saxophone a little later. So so the plan is to have them go check this shipment of weapons or whatever. So they go out there. This is like another rushed scene, I feel. They're just like in the hills or whatever, watching with the camera or the binoculars. The trucks are coming, there's the workers there. There's all the crates of boxes, and they're getting pictures, and the dudes, the kangaroo guys, are like, well, you need to get down there and see what's actually in the boxes. And so Jet Girl's just like, all right, let's go. Or Tank Girl says that. And then Jet Girl is like, well, we can't just walk down there. There's all these guards and blah, blah, blah. And Tank Girl's like, sure we can. They're guys. And she just fucking just goes. And I
Yeah,
thought, again, if you're going to say, oh, they're guys, like, and we're girls, so we have the advantage. I think you're going to go down there and do something sexual. Like
right.
they don't. She goes down there with a fucking like scarf on her head and like some big glasses or whatever, and pretends to be like a fashion like bitch who makes clothes or whatever. And she's like talking to the dudes and like, oh, we need models and you guys are
We're gonna make a
perfect.
calendar.
Yeah,
We're
we
gonna
need to
water
we're
and power calendar.
yeah, we're doing a photo shoot and everything. And again, I think this scene is funny. It
Yeah,
just seems like Lori Petty is almost ad-libbing. It doesn't seem like they had a good grasp on like what they wanted to do with the scene. Her lines don't seem like they were practiced. It just seems like a first take kind of thing. Even though it's still funny. And so the dudes, they go along with it. They're like, "Oh, we want to be in the water and power calendar." And so they jump up on the boxes and take their shirts off and they're all flexing. And then they're sending the pictures, and Ice-T is like, the fuck is this? And it's like these dudes just like shirtless, like flexing and stuff. And Jet Girl is like, she's taking pictures and getting the weapons. And then Tank Girl's like, all right, we gotta go. But Jet Girl is like so into it, she's just like, oh yeah, oh yeah,
yeah.
flex like this. And she's like doesn't even hear because she's so into the
So
photo
funny.
shoot and the guys, even though the guys are like fucking old and fat, like they're just all old
Yeah,
fat guys. It's like,
yeah,
again, I think the scene was hilarious. It had like specific points that were good, but even the point where Jet Girl is like into it and she doesn't want to leave, the camera is like so far away and it's like not clear exactly what's going on. Like it's easy to miss that. It's easy to miss like a lot of the jokes. I feel like they should have zoomed back a little. The camera when they were taking pictures of the dudes was like chest up. Like you want to get like full funny ass shots of these guys like flexing and like being funny. Like that's the whole point of the scene for me. But it didn't quite pull it off. It's again a scene
yeah.
that's too short, has good jokes and stuff like inherently written into it, even and the jokes that they wrote, but just not quite as in depth or as long as I needed it to be.
And then like they essentially are like, you guys get it, right? Like the kangaroos are like, you guys have to capture this
Yeah, they're
like
like the pictures
shipment,
aren't good enough. Like now bring the
bring
shit.
the shipment back.
And so Tank Girl's just like, okay. And now we
Well, this is
start
kind of cool too
into,
because
yeah, this is like the only tank action
this is
scene
like the
of the
first
movie.
scene where she actually uses the tank and in its full like funny comical sort of like like all the different fun tools and weapons that are on this tank.
And she's got like her little lawn chair on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
top of the
She's like
tank that
cooking
she
hot
sits
dogs
on.
and shit. Like she's just being tank girl. Like
It's so dressed up, the tank. It's, it's like a fucking teenager from 1995 put a bunch of stickers and drew a bunch of shit on their toys. Like that's the
yeah,
aesthetic, and it works really well. It's a cool action scene. The movie doesn't really have any other action scenes really until now. So
yeah,
it's even like well choreographed, not like over the top pyrotechnics or explosions or anything too crazy, but
yeah.
again,
It's done pretty well.
it's a lot like the cartoons where a lot of the panels are these like fast tank chase scenes. But again, not a lot to really discuss as far as the action goes. The cool stuff happens is just the cuts to Tank Girl sort of being funny on her tank. Like how
Yeah.
cool the tank looks, how cool it looks inside, and just sort of her charismatically going through the scene. It's not even like a bunch of good lines. It's just like really cool to watch.
And it kind of shows the dynamic of her and the tank and how like they almost have like the tank almost has a mind of its own kind of, which is
Yeah, she's like talking to it at certain
like she
points in the
talks to
movie.
it, the tank listens, like it's essentially like on some weird remote control, but like it's like it's like a weird dynamic, which is cool, but you know, like it was weird that the tank was doing all the things without.
Yeah, it was weird when she's just like she's surfing on the cannon of the tank, and then the
Yeah.
tank is even like turning the cannon and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
and you're just like,
It's
how
like how is
is
that
any of
stuff?
this happening
Yeah, yeah.
without
But
like
whatever. Movie magic, I guess. It's like
it's just like that's the character and it's fine, and it's the
yeah,
only tank scene in the movie, and it works pretty damn well
yeah,
for
yeah.
the budget that they had, I feel. And so they're in the whole tank scene. She's on the tank chasing the truck full of weapons. And then once she finally hijacks the truck, it's going to careen off the cliff. And she gets saved by Booga the kangaroo. Like he just jumps in out of nowhere and saves her as she's um about to fall off. I think she stops the truck, but then like she's about to fall off the edge anyways.
Yeah, she disconnects the trailer from the cab or whatever, and then the cab flies off the thing, and then she's like hanging off, like hoping that it's not gonna fucking fall, and then he saves her, I guess.
Yeah, he just jumps out of nowhere and saves her.
And then the next scene is like the celebration dinner, right? Where
Yeah.
they're all sitting
They go back to the
eating.
bowling alley with the kangaroos, and they have like this victory dinner, and fucking Jack Kerouac kangaroo gets up with, I'm pretty sure he has like a gigantic saxophone too. It's not like a normal
Yeah.
sized saxophone. And he's reciting poetry while playing this fucking saxophone, and it's all super ridiculous.
They also talk about how they don't use guns. They bring that up, how they got trained by this guy and he taught them not to use guns. And then they're like, let's go pray. And then the girls are like, let's get in this, and then they all get up and go fucking dance. And then I love that like that one dude, the like manager guy grabs Jet, and then she's like, "Oh, I don't dance." He's like, "Don't worry, I have a condom." And then he
Yeah.
grabs her,
And then he
and
does
then he
this
just like
dance on her where
like
he's just like,
pump.
"Ugh," he's just like rapidly like vibrating against her. And then of course Tank Girl though, she just hits the dance floor and starts grinding on the nearest kangaroo. Like she's just
No, I think
already into it.
she grinds on the like dog kangaroo. Like that's
Yeah.
the one that she
Booga
fucking
is her man, is the
yeah.
fucking so funny. And
So funny.
Ice-T, of course, refuses to dance. Everyone else is doing it's like a choreographed dance all these kangaroos are doing. They
Yeah.
got like their tails and like it's so funny. And Ice-T is just sitting there. He's like, I didn't get fucking paid enough for this shit. He doesn't want to like
Dude,
I feel like he didn't
your
even
iced
want
tea
to
is like I'm like thinking that Ice T is in this podcast. Like your voice, it's like it's so funny how much you sound like Ice T.
well, I'm probably not going to be able to do it anymore now that I said that. But
Now that I
I
just said
know
that.
because I
Yeah.
have
Good.
there's a because there's a character that I wrote who does is Ice-T basically, and so
Pop.
because that's usually what I how I do my characters. Like the in Extinction Era, obviously I was trying to work off like a snake thing, and then the other guy is Greg Eagles, who's the DARPA chief. He's
Yeah.
like the doctor guy who if I can do the voice, it's kind of like this. This is how the DARPA chief talks. And then Zelda like is another, but that's like what I do. So I know that
Yeah.
my Ice-T voice is like pretty spot on at times, but it's just super funny that like he didn't want to dance. And I feel like
Yeah.
it was not even like written in the script. He just sat there and he's like, no, I'm not fucking dancing. And everyone else has their like whole choreographed thing. And then after the party, or after the little dance, then we sort of cut to Tank Girl and Booga, the used to be a dog kangaroo, and they're like sort of laying together. She's got like her leg over him to like
She's got those
signify
fucking
that they
missile,
just fucked.
like,
Yeah, and she's got the missile bra thing. And I
which
think
is from the comic.
yeah, and I think it's great because in the comic, the first fucking like page 2 ish issue 1 she's fucking a kangaroo like
Yeah.
and
Yeah. That's awesome.
Booga is her boyfriend in
In the comic.
the comics, but he doesn't even show up until like a few issues in. She's on like a bounty hunt or whatever, and she's supposed to kill a kangaroo, and she's like chasing him, and eventually they just get drunk and start making out and fuck, and then she kills him. Like that's like the first 3 pages of issue 1 of Tank Girl. So I think it's great that the first thing that she does, like the first person she actually fucks in the movie is a kangaroo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it
So
was
good.
the dog, which is even that much better.
Yeah. And so then the next scene after that is when they open the crates and they see their dead prophet is in there and that they realize that everything was like a trick kind of thing.
Yeah, somehow because they saw the guns. So
Yeah.
somehow once, transferring them to the truck or whatever, all the other boxes are just dirt. So they got dirt and then the body of their dead prophet, or I think they call him Charlie Prophet. And they didn't really
Yeah.
talk about him too much, but they find his dead body in there. They start just howling. Ice-T just starts breaking shit. And then we cut to Malcolm McDowell. And this is the instance when we see him in his chair from behind, like Dr. Claw, and he's doing the wheezing laugh and everything.
Yeah. And then they're like they come up with a plan to disguise the jet as a real play like a real thing, and they're like we're going to go in there, and then they're like we'll just repaint the jet, steal some coordinates and fly back in. And then which is funny that that's their plan, but yet Tank Girl's like well I'm bringing my tank, and she just drives and just gives fucking zero
she's just
fucks
she just is
and
Tank
is
Girl sitting on the fucking
parasailing
thing.
on her
Yeah.
fucking to an Ice-T song, which I will say, which was pretty
Dude,
awesome.
so the Ice-T song is so fucking funny. The
So
only
funny.
thing I don't like about it is that the whole movie, so as they come up with their attack plan and they're going in, like she's rolling up with the tank, and then the Ice-T song comes in. And for some reason, because the movie is not like a feminist thing. Like you can tell that they're actually trying, they're like, let's not go too far on certain things because we don't want it to be like a feminist. movie. But Ice-T is the first dude who's like, she doesn't need a man. She's going to show men. So he even says the word feminist within his rap. And I just thought it was really interesting that he is the one to bring this up at all. Like maybe to him, it felt very feminist, like to a super masculine, like hip hop dude from the 90s.
I would be curious to see if he wrote this song for this movie or if this was like a song that he just had that happened to fit. Like I can't imagine that's the case, but
No,
maybe.
he wrote it for the movie. But the song, I really like the song, just
Oh yeah,
except
it
for
was
the
great.
feminist stuff. I'm kind of like, that's kind of corny. Even the movie, who's directed by a woman, understands to sort of stay away from feminist stuff because the movie is not about men oppressing women. And so therefore feminism doesn't have a place in
Yeah,
it. But
right.
Ice-T, I think you could tell through his attitude from the whole movie, like he felt like he was being oppressed by women. Like he doesn't get to say lines. He's just mad the whole time. When they're
Well, and
flying
even in
there,
yeah,
he
even in
he
that flying
says
scene,
like their
turn around,
plan
turn around.
their plan is to get the fucking general manager from the hardware store to be on the radio and try and tell them, hey, blah blah blah, we're coming in, we need you to open the docking bays or something. And he can't fucking handle it because he
He's
works at a
fucking it all
hardware
up.
store and he's half kangaroo. And
Yeah,
so then Ice-T is just like fucking says
turn this
to,
shit around.
yeah, but Jet Girl like grows some balls in this moment, which is a
Yeah,
little out of place for her. Like maybe this is just like her, stepping up kind of moment.
yeah.
But she grabs the fucking thing and is like yelling at them to open up the fucking hangar or whatever. They're gonna crash or like something bad's gonna
Because
happen.
she has all the knowledge about it because she's like a mechanic, and so she knows exactly what to say to these guys to know like, hey, we're fucking gonna crash, and if you don't fucking let us in, we're gonna fucking crash right into you, blah blah. Which is like interesting because like if that pilot wasn't a woman, like how would they like wouldn't the air traffic people be like, wait, there's a girl in there? Like you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we
Like
don't
it's just
have
like
any female
it's like
pilots.
it's like a weird like it's such a but like whatever. They took
But that's how that
it's
seems to be
all
how they found out because by the time they get there, Malcolm McDowell already knows that
right.
it's them and they're there. So that was a little silly. Because they had the plan, and then the girl just takes it and sort of lets them know, hey, I'm Jet Girl. Remember me? Like,
Yeah.
let me back in.
Well, yeah, and then now is the scene where they show the girl getting put into the tube, the little Sam girl getting put in the tube with water.
Yeah,
Like it
she's
just cuts right after.
she's in the tube. There's like glass on the edge of the tube, so you can see like the water like sort of rising. And then they make their assault on the base. And again, it's a little weird. They're like trying to fucking be sneaky, but then it doesn't work. I think one of the which kangaroo is it that
I think his name is DT, but he was the like beatnik guy. That was the
okay.
guy who knows and like because they're like we do better at dark when it's nighttime or whatever we don't fuck around with like daytime shit. So we need to turn off the lights. And he's like, where are the lights? He goes and then he just runs off and essentially sacrifices himself
Mhm.
to turn off the lights so that they can commence the attack. Meanwhile, Tank Girl is just driving her tank or flying over her tank, just shooting everybody on their way in, which is like, you know, silly, shooting a hole in the fucking wall and shit, just like going,
I
just
know
like
the action
really
scenes
fucking,
don't like match up when you have Tank
no,
Girl doing that and then Jet. They should have just like went nuts. Like cuz we see once
yeah,
the beatnik guy gets killed, then the kangaroos all actually start like growling and roaring
yeah, they get
and
fucking
just fucking shit
pissed.
up. And then
Yeah,
Ice-T, it's really funny some of the jumping they do. Where Ice-T like jumps like 30 feet in the air and like tackles people because he's a kangaroo.
kangaroos, dude. Yeah, dude.
It's like pretty funny. I think they should have done more of that. Like I could use more
Yeah.
Ice-T just jumping like a
Well,
kangaroo
I think it's
everywhere.
safe to say that if we had to improve this movie, there would be a lot more iced tea in it.
Yeah, Ice-T could have been Tank Girl's like boyfriend or like
Yeah.
new fuck or whatever instead of Booga. But in the comics it's Booga. What if
Yeah.
Ice-T was played Booga though?
Like, it's funny. Like eventually the Michael McDowell like shows up and interacts with Tank Girl while all the chaos of the fighting is happening.
hmm And it works really well because we see him and we still don't see his face. And he walks out and he's like blocked by something. We're just we're expecting like a mask or some hideous, reproduction of whatever they could cobble together of his busted up face. But then it just appears and it's just his face.
Yeah.
And he's great as he is through the whole movie. He's the best at pushing back to the Tank Girl sort of omnipotence. And so they're fighting. It's like a fine cutscene or whatever. Tank Girl ends up like bringing her tank in. Again, her tank just shows up, like busts through the fucking wall or whatever. Malcolm McDowell hits like an electrified fence or something, and we see that his like head starts to flicker, and we see from the neck up that he actually doesn't have a head. It's a full hologram, which is pretty metal.
Yeah. Before that, he explains that, hey, you are essentially a walking microphone. We've known everything that's happened. Thank you for delivering the Rippers to us. Like he kind of brings that up before she like fucking hits his face and realizes that it's like a fucking hologram.
Because for 1 second when they took her out of the pipe, took her to the Ripper place to have her find the holes, and then the Rippers killed everybody and fucked him up. For 1 second when that scene started, they shot her in the leg with a tracking device. So apparently that's how they just knew where she was at all times. And they have their little fight scene. She goes into the tank. She's like shooting beer out of the
Dude, that was
tank
so
and like drinking beer and stuff. Like again, it's like the silly gags and just the personality that Lori
yeah,
Petty captures with this character that
yeah,
makes almost every scene. Like for the most part, I'm talking about these scenes and I'm like, well, I think this should have happened. This should have been longer. This should be
right,
different.
right. Yeah,
But at the core of all that is Lori Petty just being hilarious, just being so charismatic and being the only interpretation of this character that I think even works. Because to a
yeah,
certain degree, I want the character to be less like baby talk. Like, because like when Jet Girl's crying and she slips in under the bathroom stall and she's like, there's nothing to be as scared of. Like she does all this stuff, like says S scared and like just talks like a baby in ways that I don't particularly like. But I think it's probably the only way to do the character. Like I can't think of another way to sort of have this character come off with all its like idiosyncrasies and everything
yeah,
without doing that. Like if you play it like just straight kind of a tough girl, I don't think that works. It has to be like more playful and the sort of like girlish baby talk stuff works. And I think it's the only thing that I can think of that would work
yeah.
in creating the character.
Absolutely. I think she does it really well. I mean, pretty much. I mean, we're just at the finish line. I mean, for the most part, I mean, we can just kind of the ending. Like I was like, like everything happened so fast. She shoots him with the beer cans, and then eventually she like launches it up, and then shoots like a water thing right above him, and then it like gets him fucking wet, and then he's like dead, and then she's like, "I won," kind of
He's
thing,
like
right? And
semi-dead and then she hits him with the fucking water
yes, that's what it is.
sucker
Okay,
pump thing.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's the end of that battle. There is the little scene with Jet Girl and the dude who was fucking with her, and he's trying to escape in the jet. And then she comes out and aims at his dick with the laser
Yeah.
sight. And then he's like, oh, fuck me. And she's like, I told you, I don't want to. And then shoots him. And
Yeah, in the
that,
head. Yeah.
I think, that line for her, we could say that it's kind of a feminist line, actually, which I think doesn't need to be in the movie for that reason. Just like some of the feminist things from Ice-T's song didn't need to be there because the movie is not really about that. But that line, like, all she could have just said, I'd rather fuck a kangaroo. And then that line does the exact same thing, but it's a little bit funnier. Or actually,
Yeah.
told you I don't want to isn't funny at all. So like
Right.
having
Right.
something
There
else
could have
for
been a
that
better.
line.
You could have said something like you could have like there could have been like a callback. Like there, he could have said something earlier in the movie. That only he says that's like somewhat whatever, and then she could have said that same thing. Like instead of like I just don't want to have sex with you.
Yeah, no means
It's like
no. You
yeah,
respect
it's
my
like like
boundaries. Like, and
yeah,
it's
like
like,
they definitely could have been handled better, but still, like it kind of it fits her arc, whatever. She conquered whatever the fuck that douchebag, blah blah blah. They pull the girl out of the water, right? And then
mhm.
that's like it, isn't it? Like, isn't
I
that the
think it
end?
literally ends like Booga shows up in the scene and Tank Girl kisses him. And I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
like
no, no.
it.
All of a sudden they have the girl, and then all these soldiers come in, and they're like, they got her, and then all of a sudden, Booga shows up, and he's like, I took their bullets out. And she's like, "Oh, booga," and then they kiss, and then that's the end of the movie or whatever. It's like
Yeah, I
so
think
fucking
that's it.
silly. He's like,
But
"You did so good." Like it's like whatever. It's so fucking. And then there's that animated water outro where it's like they're just essentially like water skiing, like with booga, and it's like they're in jets and also tanks, but it's on water. Like,
it's just silly. Like the whole movie, it's so fun. Like
oh
even with
yeah,
its shortcomings and stuff, like the main shortcomings I feel are just that they didn't take scenes far enough. Some scenes
yeah,
seemed a little rushed, and also the sexuality I feel like should have been pushed a little bit more because that's a bigger part of the comic character. Like that's what the character is. Like I can see that maybe I feel like a female director in 1995 would be of the mindset like don't take it too far in the section. We don't want to objectify women that much. Like it's supposed to be about the character being like powerful in a slightly different way, even though sexuality is a big part of it. And I think they were just trying to straddle that line a little bit.
it being a PG-13 probably limited what they could do as well. Like as far as like not necessarily with like the dialogue and the writing, but like as far as like the sexuality of it all. Like I mean, obviously we could pick it apart, but it was just a fun time, and I do like. It's funny because I remember this movie back when I was like a kid watching this movie and just loving it and being like, man, what a badass fucking chick. Like what a fucking and like that's where my love for Naomi Watts started. Like I was always into. I mean, her in that movie, like she was hotter than Tank Girl. I mean, and I love Tank Girl.
By the end of the movie, I was definitely into Jack Girl.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and apparently she hates this movie. Like Naomi Watts like hated this movie. Like it was like not like something that she has like said that this is like not a movie that she would ever like tell people that she was in kind of thing, which is funny.
That's pretty funny. It
Yeah.
doesn't, yeah, it's not like there's nothing wrong with it. I did see that internet ratings had it at like a 4 out of 10 and stuff like that. And I was like, how is that even possible?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's definitely like we talked about a lot of negative stuff, or not negative, but just like doesn't completely come to fruition kind of stuff, doesn't meet the full potential. But like, it's so much fun. Like, you
Yeah.
can't go into it thinking it's going to be anything other than like a fun ride.
Yeah.
And if you
Exactly.
just go into it with that, you're going to get even more because
Yeah.
there's the character is like this strangely iconic, one of a kind character. And then also some of the scenes I think are some of the coolest scenes I've ever seen. They're like specific ones, like cutting up her the little like snip snip scene and the initial water and power scene of walking across the
Oh yeah.
glass, like that shit is just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. But it keeps my attention through the whole movie. It's like entertaining through the whole movie. You could watch it with somebody else. You could very easily watch that with your girlfriend or something,
Oh yeah.
and she would
And
have a
they'll
great
fucking
time
love it.
too.
Yeah, I watched the first half with Jill, and she was just like because she forgot about most of it because I had watched it when we first started dating, like with her. I showed it to her, and then but she just like forgot it, and so when we rewatched it, she was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like she was just so into it. Like she's like, "This is exactly what I mean." She was definitely like under the influence of, but still, like she was also like, "Whoa," you know. But it was nice to like see it through. I wish I would have watched the whole movie with her just to get her like opinion on the whole movie and just kind of but but it was yeah. I mean, it's just a good time. It's just like a goofy good time. So who would you say is your favorite character? I mean, I think obviously,
I will say that after Jet Girl fucked the kangaroo, I feel like she should have been wearing the Hooters shirt or the Playboy shirt or whatever. She should have been wearing his
absolutely,
shirt just to make that like a little funnier. But I think the best actor in the movie is Malcolm McDowell. Like
absolutely,
is just he just takes it to another level where nobody else in the movie is doing that. Like nobody else is
no,
taking it as seriously as him. Nobody like that could have been just such a corny ass throwaway kind of villain that nobody cared about. But
yeah,
he is so fucking metal. And even when he shows up, like, and you see that he still has his face, like you're almost like rooting for him in a sense, just to like rooting for him to like do cool bad guy stuff. Like I
yeah,
wanted
he
more of him.
absolutely, yeah, he was just such a great character and like definitely the best performance. I mean, like obviously Lori, she was great too. Like portraying this comic, and doing the things that she did. Like it's funny because like I think I think I saw her in Orange is the New Black, and I remember being like, "Oh my god, this is Tank Girl," and she is the exact same character. Like it's like as if like it was like very interesting to see. I mean, granted, that movie was about like women in prison, so like it would kind of fit that kooky craziness. And I'm sure she's been in a bunch of other shows and movies since then. But like watching her and being like, oh shit, like that's Tank Girl, like, and she's just as kooky. And it's like I wonder if that was because of Tank Girl or if like she just is that and like Tank Girl kind of unleashed that part of her and she was never able to sort of like come out. Like I don't know, like I'm all obviously speculating, but like I think she did like a good job because I think they had a different woman cast for her, but they refused to shave their head. And I think it was like a big star. I'm not entirely sure it was, but they refused to shave their head. And so then they got Lori and then she obviously did. And then it was just like great. But yeah, I mean, obviously Malcolm McDowell is definitely like, I mean, clearly the best performance, you know.
Yeah, Lori Petty is just like you said, she's just really natural with the character. Like
Yeah.
that seems to be just like Ashley Birch. Like you see that that's her personality. That's a part of what she does all the time. And I think that's Lori Petty as well. And it kind of reminds me because the other way that you could take this character is like Jack from Mass Effect, where she's got a bad attitude, she's not funny, she's in a bitchy mood all the time, and
Yeah.
she's just that kind of badass. But then you don't have the humor, you don't have like
Right.
you know, driving my tank off a cliff is like a roller coaster ride and I'm having fun, all that kind of stuff. But with the Jack character, if you listen to interviews with that actress, she says the same things where she's like, this is just, I saw the character and I knew I could do it. Like I related to this character. And so that's like me doing that. That's not,
Yeah.
I feel like this is me when I was like in school or in my 20s or something like that. And it seems like Lori Petty is the same. Like this is just unleashing the already personality that she had, or the character that she had already sort of come up with, and just
Yeah,
letting that fully come out.
absolutely. Yeah. So what did you think? Like, I mean, like I know it was your first time. Like I know you kind of have given your opinion, but like, were you like a fan or
I think it's
because
really good. Like
cool.
it's just one of those movies where I like it so much that I want
You wish it
other
was.
parts to be like fully realized.
Yeah, yeah.
Not necessarily be better, but I think a lot of it was just not fully realized. I did read that they they had to like cut a bunch of stuff from the finished version. I don't see how there hasn't been like some kind of director's cut or like something that would have come out that had all the extra scenes, but
I have the Blu-ray and there's no like deleted scenes or anything because I looked and like all they have are like interviews with Lori Petty and the director and then the costume designer and then they have like old trailers and like old making of that was like it just called like vintage making of thing. Like I don't know if it was just because of I was watching it on the DVD and maybe they have more on the Blu-ray. Like I don't know, but I can't imagine because they're in the same freaking case, so I would assume they'd be the same extras, you know.
yeah, I wasn't sure when I read that they cut a bunch of stuff. It's like normally when there's a bunch of deleted scenes, like those will come out,
Yeah,
especially for it's I would say it's a popular movie. Like it has its audience, and among the audience that likes it, they like it a lot.
yeah.
It's like a cult kind of movie. So if they released a different version with extra scenes, like I think people would be interested in that. I'm not so sure that there is like that much extra scene, because it doesn't seem like in like the strip club scene, for instance, it doesn't seem like there's a bunch of scenes in between that. Otherwise, you would be like, wait a minute, what happens here? How did they get from here to here? It just seems like that's the way they shot it. And they were trying to tell the whole story with those scenes that they shot and put in the movie. That'll do it for this episode. Thanks to everyone for watching and listening. We'll see you again next time.
See ya.